In times of peace and in times of loss, God's purpose remains unshaken. This is the story of a young man who chose faith over comfort, discipline over pleasure, and obedience over fear. This is the beginning of the story of Daniel. In the 3rd year of King Jehoiakim of Judah, Babylon rose against Jerusalem. The mighty King Nebuchadnezzar laid siege to the city. Jerusalem fell, not because God was weak, but because the people had turned away from him. Sacred vessels from the house of God were taken and carried into the temples of Babylon. Among the captives were young men from royal and noble families, strong, intelligent, and without physical defect. The king ordered that these young men be trained to serve in the royal court. They were to learn the language, literature, and wisdom of Babylon. For 3 years they would be prepared to stand before the king himself. Among them were 4 young Judeans, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. The chief official gave them new names meant to reshape their identity. Daniel was called Belteshazzar, Hananiah Shadrach, Mishael Meshach, Azariah Abednego. Babylon tried to change who they were, but names alone cannot change the heart. Every day the king provided rich food and fine wine from his own table. To many, this was an honor. But Daniel made a decision, a quiet decision that would define his life. He resolved in his heart not to defile himself with the king's food and wine. He asked permission to remain faithful to God. The official feared the king's anger if Daniel appeared weaker than the others. So Daniel proposed a test. "Give us vegetables to eat and water to drink for 10 days, he said. "Then compare us with the others." The official agreed. For 10 days, Daniel and his friends remained disciplined, trusting God, not appearance. At the end of the test, Daniel and his friends looked healthier and stronger than all the others. From that moment on, they were allowed to continue their simple diet, and God gave them knowledge, understanding, and wisdom beyond their peers. To Daniel, God also gave insight into visions and dreams. When the time of training was complete, they were brought before King Nebuchadnezzar. The king questioned them and found none equal to Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. In every matter of wisdom and understanding, they were 10 times better than all the magicians and enchanters in Babylon. Daniel remained faithful even in a foreign land. His story reminds us that faith does not depend on location, comfort, or reward. When you honor God in quiet obedience, He honors you in ways the world cannot deny. And this was only the beginning.